So is this the best one? I mean, the best Sun Eater book so far. Actually, this is supposed to be the best Sun Eater book of them all. Period. The best of the best, according to every booktuber ever. Now me, I was floored by The Howling Dark. That was such a big step up from The Empire of Silence that I was absolutely thrilled with that one. So is this one better? Well, we're going to find out. That's what we are here to talk about today. But what I can say right off the bat is, of all of the YouTube darlings, all of the series or books or sets of series out there that YouTube just seems to love and really wants to talk about, this one I can genuinely say does not disappoint. So, of course, today we are talking about The Demon in White by Christopher Ruocchio, book 3 in the Sun Eater series. I also want to say, spoiler warning up top, because once I get into book 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a series, it's basically impossible to talk about anything that happens in the book at all without, at the very least, spoiling the books that came before it. So I just go full spoilers. I just kind of talk about it and go through it. I won't go through the book beat by beat. I will only talk about a few key things here and there, but I will definitely spoil some shit in this book. So don't watch the video if you haven't read the book, I guess is what I'm saying. If you haven't read the book, it's great. It really is good. I highly recommend it. You should probably read it. Also, I'm not so sure that I have quite as much to say about this book as I have the first two in the series. I don't know. I feel like I have less to say. This could be a shorter video. I don't know. Once I get to talking, you never know what's going to happen. Now, this book starts off just like the other ones, just really going for it. Pedal to the metal. We're not wasting time. We're not messing around. We're not dilly-dallying. He, like the last book, started out just 12 years later, and then we just go from there. This one starts out when we're immediately on a mission. That mission is kind of like to get rid of Hadrian for the most part. This is going to take him like upwards of 50 years to do it, and then we're back. So we just are just leaping forward in time, just covering vast sections of story in a very little amount of page time, which is fine. I mean, we've got a lot to do here, and he's really not wasting any time getting there, getting to it, getting it done. And it technically kind of is rushed in the sense that we've got to get over here and we've got to get this done because we have to get back to the Imperial planet for the important stuff to happen. But it doesn't feel rushed in the sense that we're missing something or we're skipping over important vital parts of the story. It really just feels like we've abbreviated this section to get to what matters over here, because we really need to get to what matters at the end of the book. And we're really trying to get to what matters 3 books away from now, the big stuff. And I appreciated the pacing of the book. It felt really good. I've appreciated the pacing of pretty much all of it so far, with some blips in the first book. Now, also when it comes to Demon in White, for better or worse, it's going to come with some ideas of what to maybe expect from the book. I don't know about that, but you're really, because it is so highly touted as just the best, the peak Sun Eater is this book. It doesn't get better than this one, according to BookTube. So you go into it with a certain level of expectation, for better or worse. Unfortunately, that is the situation here. So you're constantly, like, in my mind, going, so why is this the best? I'm waiting for this to just completely blow my mind. So when we go out and we do that first mission, and there's the bird creatures and all this cool stuff happening, we come back and then we settle into a political drama in the Imperial capital that, in my opinion, was not very thrilling, not very exciting, and lasted a little bit longer than I would have liked it to. I was getting to the point where I was like, why is this the best? This feels like a step down from Howling Dark, for real. I'm not sure why this is touted so highly, because I'm not feeling it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not bad at all by any stretch of the imagination. It's quite interesting. It's quite intriguing. We get to learn about the Imperial family. We get all this backstory on them and the intrigue of them. There's some pretty gnarly scenes that are going to happen in this section of the book. Like when the Empress makes Hadrian crawl on his knees across the floor. Like, there's some gnarly shit that happens in this section of the book. I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm just saying, in the world of these books where everything can be this fast-paced, action-packed, or even when it's not being fast-paced, the mystery and the intrigue and the aliens and the Cielson and the quiet and these weird artifacts and artificial intelligences and just the ruins and the libraries. Like, there's so much cool shit happening in these books, and this one takes a lot of time being like, no, wait a second, let's pause all that to do some Imperial drama and some political drama and some political intrigue. And I was like, that's not it. That's not for me anyway. That's not it. So, like I said, I was just very surprised that there was so much heavy emphasis on that in the book that everyone thinks is the best. Maybe that's what everybody wanted. In which case, to each his own. Yeah, you rock it. You go love it. But for me, I was like, wow, this is not what I was thinking, not what I would consider. Anyway, for me, it's just not what I would consider to be peak Sun Eater. That's all. Especially after the last book was given us stuff like Karn the Undying and the Brethren. Yeah. Anyway, I am happy to say that after this particular section, the book picks up, gets infinitely better, and the second half of this book is just holy shit, pedal to the metal, balls to the wall. It is wild. Actually, the second half of this book picks up so much, and it gets so intense, and the action and the climax of this book is so phenomenal. The entire second half of this book, I will say, I can see why, based off of just the second half, why some people would say that this is their favorite in the whole series, because the second half of this book is insane. Hadrian gets to go on a mission to the actual Scholiast library where like all of the Empire's knowledge is held, and he's going there on this mission to find information about the quiet. And we get there and we spend all of this time there, and we get Gibson back for a quick second. That was awesome. I don't even know if that was 100% necessary. I don't even care if it was necessary. I was just so excited to have Gibson back in the story, because apparently it feels like he's there for a blip, and now we're going to leave and we leave him behind, and he's going to be gone because by the time we get back, he'll probably be dead, I would imagine, time and everything. But just the fact of having him back for a little bit and to have him get all those little brief moments and those conversations with Hadrian, it was really nice. There was also this entire brief section there where, as we're trying to learn and get more information in the library, we get all these wonderful scenes with Volca, and we get much more depth and information on them as a couple, just fleshing them out as a couple and as a relationship that they have. And it felt good and it felt earned. And then, once again, here we're dragging the story down to a halt so we can have some nice sappy scenes with him and Vulcan. I'm fine with that. I was way more interested in that. Anyway, let's not get off track here. But ultimately, we do get all that information that we were looking for. And Hadrian learns about the quiet, and we end up meeting another AI construct, this being the computer to a ship that's actually buried beneath the library, and they actually have this big, all this shielding built into the library to keep it from being able to be detected and detect anything else, shielding it from the rest of the universe. Anyway, then we get to have a conversation with this AI. We learn more about the quiet. We learn about their home world, or at least the one that most of the signals come from, whether or not it's their home world or not. It is the oldest. Or at least, yeah, it's complicated. But long story short, we get to find out pretty much about how the quiet work and who they are and what they are. And they are a species that's actually traveling backwards in time while we're traveling forwards in time. There are also like infinite timelines, whereas infinite versions of ourselves are making infinite different combinations of varying decisions on the exact moment that people are living in right now. Some creatures move sideways in time. Like, time is this complete extra dimension, not like a straight line, which we've already been hinted at, but we're getting much more like concrete ideas of how this exists and how it works. And then we find out that Hadrian essentially has this entire ability to kind of see into all these various other timelines, kind of, and he can even grab various versions of himself if need be. And then we find out that that is exactly what happened in the last book. And what I will say, I must commend this book for so highly, is that it actually gave a solid explanation as to what happened in the last book, why it happened and how it happened. And I can say that this book legitimately made the last book better. Like, that just was so mind-blowing to me. Like, this book was so good, it actually made the previous book better, or at least one of the things that I learned in this book, because I said in the last video that I wasn't really sure about that whole Hadrian getting his head chopped off and then he died, but then he was back. But don't worry, it's okay. We're all good. We're back to life. The quiet fixed us up there real quick. I don't know. I just don't know how I felt about that whole scene in general. But it's a blink of an eye. Blink and you'll miss it. It's over. Move on. And it's such a quick little thing, and it happens in the middle of a climax to a book that is just so awesome that we're just gonna move right along. It's okay. Don't let that upset you. I was like not real big on that section of the story. I thought, oh, that was really quick and convenient, and it didn't feel satisfying to read at all. It was a very underwhelming section of that story for me, and this legitimately makes me look back on that and go, that was way better and way better executed. Now, having more knowledge and more context for that scene in the book, it's a big ask for a book that comes later in a series to legitimately improve my memories of the previous book, and this book 100% did that for me. Anyway, moving on to the climax of this, which, like I said a second ago, the climax of this is completely bonkers. We get another land battle with Hadrian and his crew going down on the land, and then we're going to have just everything about it is so fabulous and so well done. He has to kind of convince some people to go to battle, and the way he does it is by putting this guy's gun to his head and pulling the trigger, and for the first time ever taking a real genuine conscious control of his supposed new ability to kind of pull alternate versions of himself from parallel timelines and replace his own dying body as it dies. Fucking so cool. Just so cool. Then, well, like I said, we go into the major land battle, and all that happens with Volca and her going down and all of the stuff that revolves around that. There is so much tension and drama and suspense. It was like nail biting to get through, just to get to the end of it where Hadrian sacrifices himself not sacrifices himself, but offers himself up to the Cielsen as kind of like surrendering himself to them, thinking that they will take him in, when really they just want to make an example of him and show the humans that the unkillable can be killed. And then we end up with this whole scene of him pulling like Hadrian after Hadrian after Hadrian out of all these different universes, literally surviving shot after shot after shot that nobody should be able to survive. And it was just, dude, the end of this was so cool. It was just amazing. It was really, really genuinely good stuff. Now, coming down to the ultimate end of what did I think of it as a whole, as the book? Is this the best one in the series? I'm going to say no. Actually, I'm going to say that I said that Howling Dark was such a huge step up from Empire of Silence that I gave it a 9 out of 10. And I think that this one, oh my gosh, the end of this was so good. The whole second half was just literally, I would say, almost perfect. But the first half, I wasn't so thrilled with. And that political drama, man, that needed to be pared down. That just took too long. I was not there for it. The whole, oh no, I accidentally said something in front of the little boy. Now the little boy's mad at me. And now, but the boy, I have to go, and I'm going to have to go repair things with him. Then we're going to take him with us again. I wasn't there. I wasn't there for it. It was a real kind of drag. And I'm going to say it drug it back down from like a 9.5 or a 10. I don't know where it would have landed ultimately. But it pulled it back down to right about a 9. And I'm going to leave this right on par with Howling Dark. I don't think it was better. I don't think Howling Dark was better. I think they're really right there, neck and neck with each other. I'm going to give them both a 9. So this is where that's settling at. But yeah, I don't think it was some monumental improvement over the last book. I think it was really right there. Same level. No better, no worse. Anyway, that's how I feel about it, at the very least. As always, everybody, the link for my Patreon's in the description below. The link for my Discord's in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.